In this video, let's take a look at the user interface for ViewletBuilder8 Enterprise. Along the top here, we see our title bar, which includes the version of the application we're working in, as well as our project title. When the project title is followed by an asterisk, this means we need to save it. So let's go ahead and do that now. Along the other edge of this title bar here, we have three buttons that we can use for resizing the application window, as well as closing it. Then we have a menu toolbar here. Now the options available here will be determined by whether we're in the start view when we first launch the application or if we have a project open. Right now with the project open, we have access to file operations, editing, view operations, insert operations, project operations, and help resources. This toolbar here is a static toolbar that will always remain in view. Some of the buttons may or may not be available. When they're grayed out, that means that option currently is just not available. Now your second level toolbar here is a dynamic toolbar, and it will change depending upon what you have selected. So for example, right now we have the slide itself selected, so we have icons available for working with the slide itself. However, let me go ahead and zoom in here and select the balloon, and then you'll notice that the toolbar changes. So I have icons or buttons available for working with the balloon itself. If I were to double click, I go into text edit mode, which then presents a different dynamic toolbar for working with those particular font operations. Let's click off of that. Now you'll notice here I have different tabs loaded here. These are tab views that allow me to work with different aspects of the project. You do not have to have all of them loaded. You can actually go to your view menu, see all the possibilities, and decide what you want to have loaded or not. But let's just go through each of these real quick. In the slides tab, you have all of the project thumbnails, so that this is one way you can easily navigate through your project slides. In your Style Sheets tab, you have the ability to access your project style sheet or any other style sheets and set up styles and attributes to be applied to your project. You have the Browser tab that allows you to access files outside of ViewletBuilder while still in it, as well as images and so on to bring into the project. In your Timeline tab, if you, let's say you have a slide selected over here, you can select the Timeline tab and actually edit along the timeline while working on the slide. Then you have your Masters tab where you can create master slides and apply them to your project slides. If you're going to add quiz questions and also survey questions and access quiz randomization features, you can start working in the Question Banks tab. Again, there are tutorials on these other topics available as well as the user guide, so we're not going to really cover it in detail here. You also have the ability to add slide notes to your project, as well as generating logs will be displayed in the Output tab. This helps us determine when something happens unexpectedly to your program while you're editing your project. You can go ahead and send us logging information of a non-sensitive nature. And then when you do project validation, you can go ahead and use the Problems tab. Now, you do not have to have, again, any of these tabs open. You can actually hide them by clicking the X. That's one way to do it. So maybe I just want to work with these three. And then over here, maybe I just want to have the Slides tab open. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. If, let's say, I just want to work in thumbnails, I can expand the view easily by going like this, and then I get all my thumbnails in one view, hide the slide edit view. Then I can actually go ahead and restore it to its previous state. I can also, without completely closing it, collapse it so that it's there for quick access, but it gives me a little bit more viewing real estate over here in the slide view. And then I can go ahead and expand it by clicking it again. I can also dock it in a different position, so I can drag it, dock it to the right if I want. I can dock it down at the bottom if I want, or I can leave it in its default position. Here it was defaulting to the left. Now let me go ahead and click back on my thumbnail over here and talk about this area here. Now, depending upon the slide you're working on, what you want to do is you want to load it, either a main timeline slide so that it's in view here so you can work on various aspects of it, or perhaps you're working on a question bank one. So you can go here, select the question bank you want to work with, and then select the slide, and then you can go ahead and edit that particular slide in the slide view area here. We also have the ability to access slide elements via your Objects Tools bar over here. Now, there's always going to be more than one way to access a feature or a tool in ViewletBuilder 8 Enterprise depending upon your particular style of project editing. Maybe you're a keyboard shortcut user. You can go ahead and actually use keyboard shortcuts. The most common might be listed here. For example, if you delete something, you can use a Control-Z to quickly undelete it and so on. Or perhaps you like to use right-click menus. You can go ahead and right-click and have access to a lot of the same options available along the toolbars as well as the menu bar here along a right-click menu too. So more than one way to do something, customization options as well. A lot of flexibility when using your project workspace and setting it up while editing your Viewlet project. That's it for this topic. If you have any questions while working with Qarbon's products and services, please visit us online at www.qarbon.com. Happy Viewleting!